What's up, Broncos, and welcome to the third episode of the Poly Podcast, the official podcast of the Poly Post. This is a weekly podcast for students by students where we bring you all the latest news from our latest issue of the student-ran paper, the Poly Post. I'm your co-host, Nicholas Talamante.
I'm your other co-host, Andy Foreman, and we are sitting here with two very special guests today.
Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, guys?
Hi, my name is Lauren, and I'm one of the writers for the Poly Post.
Hey guys, I'm Kelcie. I'm also a writer for the Poly Post.
And so we actually have guests this episode. So like
we're moving up in the world, dude.
Yeah, like we were saying last week, we're just gonna keep adding more new things with each episode. So thank you guys for joining us. Happy to have you on.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you.
So we're just going to jump right into our highlights really quick. So the first thing that I want to highlight, and again, this is going to be covering issue number 22 of the Poly Post, and of course you can always find these around campus. They are free. They're going to be in the little green bins. So if you want to check out any of the stories we cover in this paper, be sure to grab one of those. So the very first story that I want to cover real quick is going to be uplifting our communities through educational equity and food justice, a campus effort for a more inclusive conversation. This is going to be by our staff writer, Giselle Cicito. And real quick to talk about the piece and why I think it's important is uplifting our communities through educational equity and food justice brought the Cal Poly Pomona community together on February 26th to hear from Brianna Hawkins, who serves as a social justice and policy professional, and Maisha Moses, who works on the Algebra Project and the Young People's Project. So if you want to learn about this amazing talk that these two great speakers had and Giselle's great coverage of it, please again go ahead and check out this story in this current issue. Andy,
I am going to toot my own horn, and I'm just going to talk about the Color Out of Space review that I did.
Ooh, how was that?
The only reason I'm talking about it is because everyone should see this movie. If you're into horror even a little bit, it is fantastic. The movie is called Color Out of Space. It stars Nicolas Cage, but it is not what you think it is. It's not like a Nicolas Cage Goes Crazy movie. It's a Nicolas Cage Goes Crazy movie, but it's really good.
So you're happy on Nick Cage?
Yes, exactly. Everyone should see this movie. You can rent it on Amazon Prime. It's out there in the world. It is one of the best, most interesting, and most imaginative horror movies I've seen in a long time. Watch it.
Awesome. And be sure to check out Andy's review of it in this current issue. Kelcie and Lauren, what do you guys want to talk about?
So I wanted to highlight on the fact that there is now a new logo that was approved unanimously by ASI Board of Directors.
Mm-hmm.
And this was written by one of our very own staff writers, Joanne Guintu. Now, I have to say, the portion of the writing was great.
Mm-hmm.
I liked how she delivered it, but
It was a great story.
the logo itself, I'm not a huge fan of.
Ooh.
I can't stand it.
Oh, both of them don't like it.
No.
So the reason being was because in the paper, it's like a huge block letters of ASI, but no one knows exactly what that is unless you actually read the bottom saying, it's Associated. What is it? Associated Students Incorporated.
Mm-hmm.
And just you can't tell by looking at the logo.
What's really interesting is that they talk about the logo being it's supposed to be new and clean and fresh. Personally, for me, it reminds me of the writing back in the 70s when you watch the original Scooby-Doo shows.
Damn.
And the colors, I'm sorry, it's Daphne Blake's dress.
I love it though. I love the color though.
I love her. I don't like the logo.
Okay, okay, I understand that. But the color, okay, we bring a little mystery to Cal Poly Pomona. I mean, because there's always something.
I agree
coming up.
mystery-wise because it's purple and green. And the last time I checked, those weren't our school colors. So
to be fair, I think that just might be an issue with our printer, how it came out like in the actual paper, because
Well,
I
it's
think
not
the logo itself is blue and green.
is it?
Blue
Yeah.
and green. Okay.
I have to throw that out there for like journalistic integrity. I gotta defend it a little bit.
Okay, no, that's fine. Touche.
Okay, that makes sense.
But continue, go on, speak on it.
So I know in the paper they were explaining what the logo represents to the team. And nobody knows that other than themselves. So I guess the horizontal line going up is supposed to represent exponential growth in Cal Poly. Who's supposed to know that?
I didn't even know that.
Unless you read it.
I mean, fair enough. I think, just like they keep saying, I think you should read the piece to learn the artistic choices, why the designer chose the design that she did, and all of those creative choices, because when it was explained to me at the ASI conference, and I should disclose I am a part of ASI, even though I had no input in like how this design came out, so don't hold it against me. I thought it was really cool when she explained it, but I completely hear what you guys are saying and like aesthetically like how I think about it, and I'm kind of siding with you guys. But read the piece, please, and check it out, and then you can decide for yourself how you feel about it. Is there one more thing you guys want to cover, or jump right into it?
I just want to say, I hope that line going forward represents an exponential growth in parking spaces.
You know it doesn't.
It doesn't.
You know it
I
doesn't.
hope
If you turn it over, it is an exponential decrease in the amount of parking spaces we're going to find when fall semester rolls around.
Oh,
Or
yeah,
how many
totally.
classes will be available to us.
Yeah, exactly, on Bronco. Yeah, the exponential decrease in motivation I have to continue towards my degree.
See, that's a message I can get behind.
Yes.
All right, and we're actually going to go ahead and jump into our first story if you guys are ready to move on. This one's going to be quick, but I thought it was interesting, especially considering its front page. And the story is going to be Student Causes Disturbances, Breaks Chairs in Sycamore Hall. This is going to be by our staff writer, Zavani Macias. An unidentified student, female student, destroyed 2 TVs, made a hole in the drywall, and broke several chairs in Sycamore Hall in Building 73 in the study and living room on February 24th at approximately 3 a.m. The student responsible for the destruction was taken away by campus police officers who arrived on the scene after the destruction occurred. Quote, the person responsible for the incident has been identified and there's no threat to anyone on campus, said Cal Poly Pomona Lieutenant Mark Simpson. Simpson said he could not disclose any further information because the incident is still under investigation. Aaron Madrigal, a first-year computer engineering student, heard the unidentified female throwing things from outside of the room in Sycamore and recorded a video of the student throwing a chair at the window. All I know is that it was 3 a.m. and me and my roommate heard a loud noise which we thought was like a loud drum. And I was so weirded out, I looked out of my window and saw this girl bang the window with one of the study chairs and throwing items, Madrigal said. The cops eventually came, and from there, I have no idea what happened. A student trashed the living room and the study room on the 4th floor. They threw the trash cans around, broke a couple chairs, sprayed coffee over the windows, broke 2 TVs, and made a hole in the drywall, said a student who will remain anonymous due to proximity to the situation. The Poly Post reached out to University Housing for additional information. However, they received no response before the publication deadline. So yeah, that's just something I wanted to cover really quick because this shit's kind of wild.
She must have really hated the ASI logo.
Tell me about it. You know, I know we don't have the information on it, but I'm super curious. Like, what happened to this poor girl? Like, what snapped?
I feel like it's also Cal Poly's fault as well, because if she was probably one of those students that wanted to get help and talk to a counselor but couldn't because there's long lines still, probably to still schedule an appointment. You know, these are students that are saying, hey, I need help, but they're saying, oh, the Cal Poly is saying, no, I'm sorry, you have to wait another month or so.
I personally went to the counseling office once, and what they said is, sorry, we're booked for the next 2 weeks.
Are you serious?
You can try to call on this day, but you need to do it before 9 a.m. because we'll be booked by 9:30.
Holy shit.
And
this is why we can't have nice things.
So
this is what happens.
Do we know for sure that that's why she was freaking out?
No,
because I was going to
not
say,
yeah, we
she
should be
could
very
just be
clear.
totally drunk.
We could be very clear that
True.
we
maybe
have
she had
no
too much
idea.
coffee. I mean, throwing coffee everywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should be very clear. We have no idea what caused this person to do what she did. We don't know the circumstances because the information hasn't been released yet. But, you know, just speculating, I wouldn't put it past the reason why this girl did what she did is because she was just under a lot of stress, had a mental breakdown, and Lord knows there's a lot of reasons why the school stresses people out. So that might be it. I'm just glad that no one was hurt by it. You know, property damage legally, it's not a good thing. We don't condone that here, but I'm glad that no one got hurt in it. I really don't care about the chairs. The school has enough money to fix that kind of stuff, but I hope that this person is okay and that they're able to get the help that they need. If you know the reason why they were doing what they did is because they were stressed out. So yeah, we'll try to keep you posted on it. If there's any kind of follow-ups, the Poly Post will be covering it, so be on the lookout for that. Anything else you guys want to add?
No, I'm good.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So you know what, guys? Third episode, third time's a charm. We're gonna be mixing things up, like we said. In addition to having our amazing guest on right now, we're gonna try something new. And the thing we're gonna try out right now is a new segment, and this is gonna be a topic. It's gonna be more of a free-flowing discussion kind of thing. And the topic, I think, for today, guys, is gonna be relationships on campus, in college, just relationships in general. And yeah, we're gonna throw it to Kelcie and Lauren and just kind of get you guys' thoughts on it.
Well, first of all, I'd like to say, no matter what's going on, relationships are work, and they can be hard.
True.
So, props all to all the students out there who are trying to manage a relationship, along with midterms that are going on this week. So,
Well, you're also married, so how's that?
Yeah, you wanna
how's
talk about that?
going?
yes, I am married. My husband does not go to this school, and honestly, it's a bigger challenge than I thought it would be.
Really?
Right now, we're living 2 separate lives, and I kind of got to put him on hold while I focus on school. It's not what I want to do, but we're willing to make it work because that's what you do in relationships.
Absolutely.
Do you think it would be easier for you if he did go here? Like with
Absolutely.
the relationship? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, at least there'd be some sort of commonalities between scheduling, and then you can meet up and have lunch. He's 2 hours away, and I'm like, hey, babe, I'll see you on the weekends.
Oh man, yeah, I can kind of relate to that. My girlfriend also doesn't go here, so she also lives at 20 miles away from me. So it's at least an hour for me to drive out and see her, just considering the traffic and taking the 15 to go see her. So I'm the same boat. It's just hey baby, I'll talk to you when I can. Even then, I'm always zipping and running around campus, so I don't really have a lot of time. And then I'm like, hey, I'll see you on the weekend. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Well,
Before
that's
I'm
easy
swamped.
for you. My boyfriend lives in Monterey, so that
Wow.
drive.
It's down the street.
Oh,
Wow.
right. It's
Down the
it's just
street.
a breeze. It's just down the street.
Plus or
So
minus traffic.
it's easier. I feel like it's good for a long distance for me is because it helps me focus on school, midterms, take an extra shift if I need to at work without sweating of, oh, am I seeing him? Stuff like that. And then when we do see each other, it's great. But I feel like for those students that are together on campus, see each other all the time, I feel like they're not giving themselves the opportunity to meet new people, like friends.
Fair
And
enough.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
being in a relationship, you may have someone that's very jealous. And even if you text somebody in a group project, it's oh, who's that? None of your damn business. Someone that I'm trying to get into.
His name is Greg, and he's nice.
Yeah.
I mean, that can even happen when you have, your relationships are off campus, because if you're like, oh, hey, I'm going to go see Lauren and Nick and Andy. Well, who are they? Oh, they're friends.
Yeah.
I've never heard of these friends before. Yeah, well, you don't go here.
But it's good to incorporate all that. But I mean, sometimes it is difficult to be in a relationship and having your partner on the same campus as you, because you feel like you have to be with that person, hand in hand. Where are you going? Did you eat? Okay, but I feel like sometimes you get taken away from your studies. So
You're kind of attached to the
Absolutely.
hip.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That is the most annoying shit in relationships to me, is when you constantly get the text updates and it's just how was your day, babe? And I'm like, it's the same as it was yesterday, and it's the same as it was the day before that. We were talking about this when we came up with this topic off air. Ooh, this sounds so official. Off air, but
This is
fancy.
Yeah.
We in the big leagues now.
But it's really helpful to. You really can't date someone that you're forced to see every day, because then it is like being married. Only if you're in a relationship, you haven't made that commitment yet. So it's sort of you can't date someone that you work with. You can't date someone that you have classes with. You need to date someone that you see never. You know what I mean? Because then you have the option to live your own life, and it's not healthy when they start encroaching on your life. Do you know what I mean?
I think it's all about balance.
Yeah.
I completely understand both sides of it. I mean, 100%, Lauren, I agree with you. I wouldn't want my partner to constantly attached to my hip and constantly on my ass. Even if they're not toxic, even if they're not super annoying, it's just there's this kind of underlying feeling that just oh, we have to be together, we have to be doing everything together. And it's just that's a lot of pressure, Where I think, especially when you're in college, you want to meet new people. You want to just kind of live your own life and find yourself. That's what the college experience is about.
Yeah.
But on the other side, I also understand for me, and I'm sure Kelcie, you can relate to this. It sucks not being able to see your partner.
It does.
When you only see them once a week because your time allows that, only that space, it's a little frustrating. And definitely, no matter what, trust, I think, is a huge component of all relationships, but especially for distance relationships, it's definitely
hard.
a huge factor. It is.
It's hard, but I feel like FaceTime nowadays, it really comes in handy because I'm always FaceTiming him all the time.
Unless you're dealing with the Android-Apple conflict like I am.
You gotta download certain apps.
They all
WhatsApp.
The Snapchat app where you can.
I haven't tried that
I
one
haven't
yet.
either.
It doesn't work, but
Oh,
I'm just
okay.
throwing it out there.
I
okay.
beg to differ. I've tried the Snapchat thing. It works
Yeah,
pretty
and then
well.
also
Okay.
Facebook
Alright.
Messenger. I know that you're able to FaceTime
Yeah.
people if they do have that messenger as well.
I just like carrier pigeon with my girl. I'm just like,
What?
hey baby, I'll like write a letter attached to a pigeon and
Oh.
send it to her. I'm like, I'll see you in a week, baby.
So you're romantic like
Oh,
that.
you already know.
Nice.
You put in a lot more effort than I do, my
Oh,
friend.
absolutely. You know, sometimes the
And
pigeon
you're
like
single,
poops on my
right?
car.
Yeah, I'm the one single guy at this table, but
Bachelor. You know,
yes,
big pimpin'
bachelor.
over here.
Yes, the bachelor at
Ladies,
this table.
just for any of the female listeners out there, Andy is available.
Yeah, if anybody needs to date a skinny white dude in comic book t-shirts.
See, I'm
He
available.
is readily available.
Yeah.
You know what? There is a type for everybody, and you are somebody's type.
Yes,
Oh,
you
yeah.
are.
Look, I will say this. To me, Andy is like my Andrew Garfield. They even have the same name.
I
all right?
appreciate it. Thank
Like
you.
you got good bone structure, my friend. You got the little cowlick in the front too.
Thank you. I
You know what?
appreciate it.
So, ladies, I know you can't see him, but he's a handsome boy. He's our handsome lad.
I like to think I look better than my voice sounds, but that might not be true.
See, that's
It's
how I feel.
my nasally ass voice doesn't like match my mildly attractive face, and I've used mildly. I'm emphasizing mildly.
At least you guys know how you sound on air right now. We have to wait till this podcast
I
comes
am
out to figure that
terrified.
out.
Oh,
We'd be
yeah.
like, oh girl, what did we just do?
But
You
it's
guys
okay.
sound fine.
Mm.
Yeah, and trust me, you guys are on the show with me, so I'm automatically the most annoying voice on this show. So
Oh, come on now.
Okay,
Yeah.
that makes me feel better.
yeah,
Moving on. Okay.
yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, I think that when it comes to relationships on campus, it's definitely a balancing act of like time, and it requires a hell of a lot of trust.
Oh
Yeah.
no
Have
idea.
any of you guys, just before we wrap up this topic, there's like one more thing we want to hit on is like actual relationships on campus. Have any of you guys like dated anybody or talked to anybody like here on campus that you like had class with or like just went to the school?
I have a story, but you guys go first.
Not this school, but at my other college, my previous college, I was in a relationship with somebody, and we did, God, thank the Lord, it was only one semester we
Okay.
had together, but it was just,
Little fling.
no, he was my boyfriend at the time.
Oh, okay.
But my goodness, I just couldn't get rid of him. I felt like because you're constantly on your toes of he's always asking like, oh, when are you out of class? Like, let's go here, let's go there. And I felt like I couldn't even stay after class to talk to my professor about something because you have that hunch like, oh, I need to get going, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah.
And so I would put my studies aside, and that's why I'm like, okay, I'm blessed for the man I'm with now. He's like, granted he is long distance, but I feel like it's beneficial to me and him at this time. And then later, we'll see where it goes.
See, I think my experience was just a little different, but
Yeah.
I think my whole situation is, it's not common. I mean, I started dating my now husband when I was 17, and he was 15. And we've been together ever since. So, I mean, we actually did for a period.
Congrats.
Thank
Congratulations.
you. Thank you very much.
Oh, yeah.
It's a lot of work, but
Oh,
I love
couldn't
him
even
despite him being a pain in the ass sometimes, you know? And
imagine. Hey.
I guess
Oh,
that's
man.
why it
Aren't we
works.
all, ladies?
Yeah.
Aren't we all?
Yeah. we love you guys anyways, you know? We have to. But we did do college for a semester at our JC, and it was actually a lot of fun because you know, we're different people, so helping each other study in different ways, you know, having that whole other person to kind of like bring about new perspectives.
That's nice.
It's
Yeah.
sweet.
See, mine was not like that.
And that's why you're not in a relationship anymore, and that's
Yeah,
good.
exactly. Because I do like the whole if that person helps you study and wants you to do better, then that's good. But if you feel like you have to put off your studies, making sure that this person's has all the attention, and you know, it becomes too much and draining. And I feel like if you are in a relationship out there on this campus, please know, just leave. You're better off without this person because
You are strong, independent, and you can do it.
exactly. Be independent, and that's something that took me a while for me to understand. Like, you are stronger than this. You know, you're able to go out your own way. You're a strong, independent woman.
You damn right.
Snaps to that.
Exactly.
Just remember, folks, you grown. You ain't gotta be with them. You can leave them, and you should if things
Yes.
are bad or toxic. And Andy, what's the? I know you got some wild shit.
Yeah,
to
we
say.
wanna
yeah,
hear
yeah,
your
okay,
story.
so, okay, so I have
I'm gonna hold my tongue.
if
I'm
we're
a good guy.
if we're talking about on-campus flings and romances, this is
all kinds of relationships.
So-
baby.
I went to a bar. This is like
Oh, this is fun.
yeah,
Best
so
story ever started with I went to a bar.
yeah, this is actually the first time I ever went to a bar. I went with one of my friends, and it was like maybe 10:30, 11 o'clock at night, and A little bit of background. Both me and my friend look similar. We're both skinny white dudes with glasses that are very nerdy.
Handsome boys.
Yeah, and we ran into this group of, let's just say, more mature females there, a little bit older than us.
Cougars.
Yes,
Right.
yeah, good way of putting it.
On
Yes.
the prowl.
Yes, we ran into a couple of older women who started chatting us up, which was, you know,
It's a great feeling.
yeah, it is a great feeling. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh,
Yeah, it's a good feeling.
Getting,
And
getting hit on by moms at the bar, hell yeah.
oh yeah, and so we started talking to them, and they bought us drinks and everything. And then there was this one that I was talking to, and we were, you know, we were holding hands, and like
How cute.
we went out to the dance floor, and you know, we were dancing with each other and all that kind of stuff.
Shucks.
We go back to the bar, and I'm talking to her. I'm like, so what do you do? And she goes, well, I'm a professor at Cal Poly Pomona.
Oh my
Oh
god.
my god. I was thinking escort right now, but okay.
No, and I go like,
Oh, shit.
I go, interesting. I go there, and she's just like, oh, what major are you? And we just started talking about that, and we're like holding hands and all this stuff, and I'm just like, interesting. I won't give any more details than that, just so that way we don't get sued later.
Wow.
Did it go anywhere?
Okay, but did
No,
you,
it didn't
Yeah.
go anywhere.
Oh.
Are you insane? I'm not gonna do that.
Oh, why not?
I mean, well,
Yeah.
We're not judging.
No, it's
We're just curious.
fair enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I still have her number in my phone.
Yeah, hit her up, bro.
2 years later.
Shoot your shot.
Get that
Yeah.
yeah.
Hey,
beer.
summer, if you're not taking classes, technically you're not a student.
Fair enough.
Hey,
Yeah.
there you go.
Well, I am taking classes this summer.
Why do you gotta
Never
ruin it
mind.
like that?
Okay.
Sorry.
All right, never mind then.
Yeah, so that was a very interesting first bar experience, and I was like, huh, alrighty then.
All right.
I've actually, can I tell a story from this real
Yeah.
quick?
Yeah,
I matched with somebody on here, but the thing was, is we had also matched on Tinder too, and
And why didn't it go
okay,
anywhere?
well here's, I'm about to get to that.
All
Like
right.
on Tinder, we were talking, and I was like, oh, you go to Cal Poly too, and she's like, yeah, and then I'm like, how was your semester? Because like the thing is like, I'm not exactly sure. I always err on the side of caution when it comes to flirting because you never know how accepting of it the other person is going to be. You kind of have to feel it out first before
Yeah, sure.
you're like, you know what I mean? Well, even though you're like, we both know why we're here, you kind of have to like feel it out a little bit.
No, of course.
So I was like, oh, how was your semester? And we were talking, and then like she like it would every time she would message back, it would be like these boring ass like answers like, oh,
Oh.
LOL, okay,
That's
LOL.
unfortunate.
Just
Now,
rise, yeah.
lost
Well, 'cause-
interest.
Well, because I was trying to be like,
Nope.
I was trying to like put in the
Charming.
effort of, I'm like, oof, that class sounds bad or whatever, never taken it. You know, but you know what I mean? Like trying to start a conversation.
Right.
So then we match on CPP Tinder, and I message her again, and I say like, I think we matched on Tinder, and she goes, oh, okay, and we talk a little bit, and then it was funny because she's again with the okay, LOL.
Some
Cool,
people just
LOL.
aren't comfortable.
Yeah, like no, just throw an emoji in there.
Stop
But
using LOL.
I-
I can't stand that.
I wanted to, because I,
It's like a filler.
well, because I
feel
was,
like.
Absolutely.
True.
I was
It's
messaging
the
her.
like of text.
Yeah.
Well, because I was messaging her, I said like, "Oh, I know a
Big
cool
facts.
bar near campus if you want to meet up there sometime." And then she just says like, "Sure," like just sure. And I really wanted to message back like, "Don't sound too excited." Like,
You should have.
I should have.
should've.
Yeah, I should have. Now that I
That's
think
some
about
king
it.
shit.
Yeah,
Yeah. Just go off and be like, all right, have a nice day.
yeah,
She would have probably been like, LOL.
yeah. LOL.
I was
Yeah,
like,
don't
all right,
say-
what do we,
yeah, the most
so are
boring
you or are you
person on
not?
the planet. Like,
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Well, you know what? You know your worth, and you know you're better than that, and that's why you didn't stoop to her level. That's why you're not
Yeah.
together.
I know, and if
Angie?
she's listening to this right now, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, you know you are. Oh,
You
dry
know
ass.
exactly who you are.
LOL.
Stop using that.
Yeah.
Get a
There's a-
personality.
There's a reason you're on all these apps.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I think that's a good note to end it on.
Oh, yeah.
Once again, we want to thank our amazing guests, Kelcie and Lauren. Thank you guys
Yes.
so much for being
Thank
on this
you.
episode.
Thank you,
This has been
guys.
a blast.
We hope to do this again in the future, guys. So be on the lookout for even more of our great staff writers here. We want to have more guests. As you're going to see later in the episode, we actually have an interview. So we're just going to do more and more, get more people involved. And as always, thank you guys so much. And with that, we're going to go ahead and jump to the second half.
Cool. Sounds good.
All right, awesome. And we'll be right back. And we are back. So we're going to go ahead and jump to our main topic of this episode, which is going to be Meet the 2020 ASI Candidates. This is going to be written by Jawan Brown and Nicholas Hernandez. And we're going to be covering the ASI elections upcoming next week. And we're going to go ahead and run through Jawan and Nicholas's story and then let you guys get familiar and introduce you to the candidates that are running. So that way you all can participate next week in the election. As campaign posters begin to proliferate throughout the campus walkways, candidates running for Associate Students Inc. ASI student leader positions are preparing for upcoming elections. Students had their first opportunity to get to know the candidates running for ASI president and vice president in a meet and greet event that took place on February 27th at University Park. The elections will take place from March 9th starting at 7 a.m. through March 12th at 7 a.m. All voting will take place online via the MyBar system.
All right, and let's jump right in here. First up, we're talking about Kimberly Cortez and Tyler Polonsky. Third-year agriculture science student Kimberly Cortez is running for the position of ASI president, and alongside her is third-year industrial engineering student Tyler Polonsky, who is vying for the ASI vice president position. The pair's mindsets are student-centric. They find it important to express the role of ASI to the student body. We want to enhance the Bronco spirit, Polonsky said. The two highlight this, mentioning they both have personal experience with the student community as they both reside on the campus housing grounds. The recurring comments made by the duo were the lack of community taking place on campus and where they would like to see it in the future under their administration. The duo said their priorities will focus on enhancing the campus community and shedding the university of its commuter school designation through this focus of school spirit. We think there is a vibrant community life on campus, and we just have to expose it, Polonsky said. If we're elected, we really want to focus on our student leaders and meeting with our constituents on a personal level. Reinforcements of personal communication with students echo throughout their campaign. However, they are aware of issues that CPP students face in their campus experience. On the issue of safety, Cortez touted her experience working for the University Police Department, which is reflected in the pair's action plan and includes allocating more resources to the safety escort program. This existing service from the police department provides students accompaniment to their cars in university parking locations or to their campus residence. The action plan that Cortez and Polonsky were pitching to students at the meet and greet also focused on raising the Bronco spirit, allocating resources to the poly pantry and university parking, and fostering transparency in student government. Now we'll move on to Randall Monzon and Marco Rosas. Randall Monzon, a third-year political science student, advocated for more satisfactory communication between the on-campus colleges, the UPD, and the ASI administration. His administration looks to solve the problems affecting CPP's campus. My first week last semester, I went to every department to find out what they have to offer their students and what issues they are facing, Monzon said. First and foremost, I'm trying to build a relationship between students and faculty and staff. Second, basic needs for students. And third, provide advocacy support for underrepresented students. The duo had a list of focus goals, which included initiatives on parking forgiveness, a behavioral intervention team, and enhanced campus security. I'm really big on security, Monzon said. Enhanced campus security includes sexual assault prevention, student emergency training, and student protocol in case of these emergencies. Concerning parking, Monzon wants to implement a one-time parking forgiveness pass. This means using the UPT database to determine whether a student had previously been issued a CPP parking ticket. If not, the student will receive a warning placed on his or her windshield. If so, the student will be given a ticket. He believes in order to live up to these ideals, his administration will have to build an understanding with the powers that be. Finally, he describes his plan to create a behavioral intervention team, a group of officials that will train students on how to react in an emergency. These concerns aren't going to be solved if we don't build a relationship with the faculty and staff. His running mate Marco Rosas, and also a third-year political science major, encouraged student communication with him and Monzon if elected. I want students to be able to come to me and say, hey, I need help with this, or this happened to me, Rosas said. I'll make sure their needs are covered.
Moving on to Lucy Yu and Mashan Singh. Lucy Yu, a third-year hospitality student, is running for ASI president alongside Mashan Singh, a third-year environmental biology student who is running for ASI vice president. Both Yu and Singh highlighted their experience in student government. Currently, Yu serves as a senator from the Collins College of Hospitality Management, while Singh holds the position of ASI Attorney General. I think we're qualified for these positions because of our ASI resumes, Yu said. We've both gotten a lot done in ASI because of both Mashan and I are in the board of directors in student government right now. Singh specified what he and Yu have accomplished during their tenure in student government. Together, we've removed the 20% fundraising guideline for the clubs. We've got turbo vote on this campus for working with our Secretary of External Affairs, and we've completely revamped how clubs are funded. We've done a lot. We know how we're going to do our thing. In terms of specific policies, Yu and Singh mentioned wanting to further support the poly pantry as well as expand the operating hours of the library to 24 hours. We want to open up the library to 24 hours, specifically during midterm season and final season, Yu said. Singh stated that he would like to reallocate funds from the student success fee to keep the library open longer, something he said is, quote, definitely within ASI's reach. The administration also looks to amplify the knowledge of CPP's Poly Pantry services. Poly Pantry is a goldmine, and we want to be the dynamite to blow it up, Yu said. We have an amazing team inside there right now expanding it, but we want to partner with the outside companies to bring in more donations and products for our students. We also want to market it more. I can't tell you the number of students I talk to and they're like, what's that? Yu said. However, Singh also mentioned goals that are not fully within the scope of ASI, but that he would like to assist the university administration in accomplishing. This includes decreasing wait times for counseling and psychological services, and a Foothill Transit Class Pass to provide free bus rides for students. Yu also expressed the importance of spreading information to the student body that will support mental health and performance. So right now we're going to pull quotes from the ASI candidates page on the CPP website just to kind of give you a feel of who the candidates are and then some of their credentials and maybe why you should vote for them. Starting off with Kimberly. I, along with many Broncos here, haven't felt like ASI has lived up to their mission statement to the fullest extent. Now is the time to work with me to make changes to our campus and allow the campus climate to heal. As president, I will not be quiet on issues happening within our community, and I will make sure our voices are finally heard. Let's work together and become a united voice and create change together. Si se puede. And then some of Kimberly's credentials are, she has been an active member on campus and served as the lead student assistant for the University Police Department. Moving on to Tyler, her running mate. Quote, I believe that if we can engage our school, then we will not only be a place for education, but a site that makes you want to stay and make everlasting connections. While creating this place, I will work with students to help show them resources and being available to tend to an open ear for those that want to chat. Cal Poly Pomona has given so many opportunities to grow and work as a student. I want to be able to express my gratitude by serving you, my friends, and fellow Broncos, and help foster those experiences for you. And then some of Tyler's credentials are, he has been a resident advisor and he has served as the ASI Attorney General previously. Moving on to Lucy Yu. Quote, if elected, I will amplify the student voice in all parts of the university, compelling them to focus on our students and make them a top priority, whether it may be our student needs, organizations, or overall success. I believe the key to this position is engaging and connecting with every student possible, building a relationship with as many students, faculty, and staff as possible. With this goal, I want my administration to unite our student body. Some of Lucy's credentials are that she is currently the ASI Collins College of Hospitality Management Senator and served as the vice president of a 100-person organization.
So we're going to move on to Manshan Singh. And his quote is, as your vice president, I intend to continue focusing on students' needs, organizations, and success as we build upon what we accomplished for this year. We intend to continue to support clubs in any way possible, advocate for better transportation, advising, and inclusion on campus, and get our library open for much longer hours. His credentials include serving as the ASI Attorney General, the president of the Sikh Student Association, and the treasurer of the mock trial team. And finally, we will move on to Randall Monson and Marcos Rosas. Randall said, his quote says, I would like to put in practice the learn by doing motto. My mission as president would be to focus on budget allocation, basic needs, housing/homelessness, emergency contraception accessibility, behavioral intervention team, RISC Act, and advocacy for underrepresented students, student employees, parent students, and students with disabilities. Randall has been involved in Bronco Lead, Base National Society of Leaders in Success, Mock Trial, and has acquired certificates in Mental Health Ally, Supportive Services, and Commissioner and Associate Justice of Student Government. Finally, Marco Rosas says, Cal Poly Pomona is a very diverse campus, and I want to make sure that every student's voice is heard and, most importantly, represented. My main goal as vice president will be to remind everyone in ASI of this, as well as standing up for the students when others do not. Marco has worked in human resources and was part of ASI's BASE program.
All right, well, we hope that you guys have a better feeling of the candidates and who they are and who you might potentially be voting for in this upcoming week. And Andy, what do you think, man? Is there anybody that's kind of catching your eye or anything about the platforms that's interested you from what you've heard so far?
Well, the two things that caught my eye the most are the idea of a warning ticket for students.
Yeah,
because
that's interesting.
I'm going to be honest, we're only 3 episodes in, but everyone can tell that one of the main themes of this podcast is how much parking sucks here.
The worst.
because that's one of the main themes of a Cal Poly student's life.
Oh, yeah.
Is how much parking sucks. It is amazing how much a Cal Poly student's mental energy is expended on trying to find parking.
If you don't complain about parking, are you really a Bronco?
No,
Exactly.
you're not. You're
Exactly.
a narc.
Yeah, exactly.
You're a narc if you don't complain about parking. But yeah, so I really like that idea because honestly, especially during fall semester, the first week, syllabus week of fall semester, dude, I'll park in a ditch if I have to get to class, there's
Honestly.
nothing available anywhere. So I like the idea of sometimes, because a lot of students probably are just desperate to get to class.
Yeah.
So they park in, maybe a place that they can get a ticket for. But if you have the one warning policy, I really like that idea because sometimes in our most desperate hours, we park in some not so great places, but sue us. You know what I mean?
And I agree. I think that's a really interesting policy. It's one I wish I had when I got my tickets. But I also really, really like the call for expanding the Poly Pantry. The Poly Pantry is kind of near and dear to my heart. I think it's a great resource that not enough people know about or utilize. And it's awesome for students that are struggling or even people that just don't really have the money but aren't necessarily struggling. Just overall, it's a great resource on campus. So anything to help expand that, to provide it with more funding, more donations. I think any call for that, anybody that says they're going to do that has my vote. So I think that was a great policy. And yeah, and we're not going to make any official endorsements on here. You guys vote for whoever you want. We both encourage you to heavily look into the candidates, check out their platforms, check out their candidate pages, and then decide for yourself who you think is going to be the best representative for ASI.
Absolutely, and don't forget to vote.
Speaking of which, voting begins Monday, March 9th at 7 a.m. and will close Thursday, March 12th at 7 a.m. via the MyBar system. If you have any issues with voting or need additional assistance, please contact Lakeisha Beard at the Office of Student Life and Cultural Centers. And with that, we're going to hop right into our interview on the same topic of politics. We're going to get into our interview with Michael Vazquez.
Let's do it.
All right. We'll be right back, guys. See you in a bit. Welcome back, guys. And in the second time in Polypod history, we have our second guest, Michael Vazquez, the ASI Secretary of Programs and Services. Michael, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing awesome. I hope everyone's great. I hope you guys are great. But why am I the second guest on the show? We're friends. I should have been the first guest.
We are friends, Michael. But you know what? Ladies first.
Well, man, you know what? You're right.
Exactly.
I withdraw.
Yeah, as you should. But anyway, Michael, we're so happy to have you on here. As an esteemed member of the ASI student government, we're hoping that you can answer some questions that students might have.
Anything.
As far as how they can get involved with student government. So jumping right in, how's your experience been in your position?
I'd say it's definitely gratifying. You get to advocate for students on a daily basis, and I love that being in this position, you actually can schedule a meeting with a university official, and they will take it. You know what I mean? Okay. And they will listen, and they will try their best to understand. And what they do later is their prerogative, but they will listen to you in that moment. And it's been really enjoyable.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about your position. What exactly does the Secretary of Programs and Services do?
Interesting you say that. It's very vague in the written. Okay. We've talked about this, how it's just programs and services could encompass many different things. But I'd say the most important task that's been delegated to me is that I chair our Facilities and Operations Committee, and that kind of has oversight over the administration of our facilities, the BSC, the brick, which we all use.
Yeah, of course.
Especially me, me. For those who have seen me, I'm big on working out.
Oh yeah, dude, just absolute beefcake.
Yeah, stuff like that. Yeah, it's kind of what.
So, in my experience of knowing you, you're primarily in charge of the BSC, though. That's the one that I see you at least delegating or having the most kind of change happen in. Is that correct?
Yeah, because a lot of the departments that the committee approves a budget for revolve around within the BSC. You know what I mean? Yeah. BSC departments.
I'm always hanging out in the BSC.
Yeah.
So thank you, sir. Thank you.
Right now we're in those budget talks, and that all the work we're going to be doing this year is going to be reflected next year.
You know what's weird? Can I bring up a weird point
Sure,
about the BSC?
bring up the weird point.
The soap in the bathrooms at the BSC smells different than the soap on campus on all the other campuses.
Honestly,
Really?
it's just the bathrooms in general.
Smell
the bathrooms just smell different. The vibe is different.
I don't know what it is. They're very spick and span. They're very clean, but I've noticed that the
Really? You get clean? I've heard the opposite about the BSC bathrooms.
It depends on which one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's the ones that are built into the hill that are bad.
Yeah.
The ones that are physically built into the hill. Like,
Oh,
if you,
okay.
like, do you see how if you go on the second floor of the BSC, you come on, like, an elevated thing?
Uh-huh.
And it's almost like the bottom floor, like, by the games room and beat, is built into a mountain.
Yeah, yeah,
which is-
no, that's
which
what,
is-
exactly what
yeah.
I mean. It's the ones near my work at
it's-
the games room.
yeah.
Those are terrible.
It's age, too. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's an old building.
No,
There's a slope in that one. I don't know if you guys ever noticed.
Yeah,
slope in
there's
that
a slope
bathroom.
in it.
Yeah, and like so
you can put something on the ground and it'll just roll.
it's disgusting.
I usually use the ones that are by the like restaurants and stuff.
Yeah,
those are cleaner.
next
yeah.
to
I'm willing to say the best restroom in the BSC is upstairs by the Rose Float Parade. Like the Rose Float Parade pictures.
Should you give that away? I don't
Yeah,
know.
you know what? Oh well,
No,
I
we're
just,
gonna edit that
you know
out.
what? I would never hold a secret from my fellow students. I want everyone to know about this glorious, very
Wow.
very infrequently used restroom.
What a man of the people, ladies and gentlemen. So moving on then, what made you interested in like your role? Like what made you interested in pursuing this position?
It's definitely how vague it is. Like I've just gonna reiterate myself because I could, jump into anything because a program or a service is anything. You know what I mean? It's just the versatility of it.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome.
That for that role specifically.
How has being a part of ASI and being in your position affected your relationship with the school? And do you feel more connected with the campus?
I definitely feel a lot more connected to the campus now because there have been like decisions being implemented that I've been like, wow, I was a part of that decision. Like just it could be random things. Like I serve a dual role on the foundation board of directors, and something we voted on is like, I remember one time I was at Collins College and I was like, wow, this parking lot is very poorly lit. And then we did a vote about, let's put more lights in this thing. And then next thing you know, I go back up there a few weeks later and there are more lights. It's just little things like that. You know what I mean?
And I think that's awesome. I think that's like the whole point of like getting involved on campus.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
being part of student government is actually seeing the change.
Yeah, that's great.
I think a lot of people just get this disillusion of just like, oh, nothing ever gets done. And then I'm sure it's really crazy. It must be a little bit surreal for you to be like, hey, here's a problem. We put forth a solution, voted, and then bam, it got solved.
Definitely.
Yeah, absolutely. So what would you say is your favorite part of your job? And I swear to God, if you say everything, we're
everything. Favorite part, I would say definitely interacting with like the senior most administration.
Okay.
Because I can take my concerns to them. Like if I saw a little problem, they're willing to hear it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I've like brought up stuff to like Dr. Coley, even like small things.
You've met Coley?
I've met Dr. Coley.
Wow.
I will say this: Dr. Coley is very accessible. If you like follow her Instagram, follow Dr. Coley's Instagram. If you don't follow her Instagram, follow her.
What's her app?
I don't have that on. It should be Prez Coley, something like that.
Okay, for sure.
But yeah, it's
some combination of Coley and CPT.
She goes to most events, and if you just like want to talk to her, she's very accessible.
Okay.
And I love that about her.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
If you get in trouble on campus, like
if I personally get in trouble, or
I mean
anyone?
like a student, if
Okay.
you get in trouble on campus and you get like in big enough trouble, do you get sent to her office? Like you get sent to the principal's office?
I doubt it. You get sent to the stables. That's where all the
Oh, okay.
like, that which sounds kind of medieval. Like
sounds very...
you're being sent to the stables. But that's where the what is it called? The academic.
Oh, academic.
Yeah. I mean, that's the really only thing you can get in trouble for, that you'd still be in the university. If you mess up big enough, you'll go to the police. You know what I mean?
That sounds draconian as hell.
You go to
send them to the stables.
Send them to the stables.
The long walk.
The doors are still wooden, which is like...
That's terrifying.
Really? I've never been to the stables.
You should. There's a lot of good like cultural resources there. A lot of the cultural centers are there. The like the Native American Center is there.
Okay.
I think the Pride Center is there. You can just go get resources if you need it. Yeah.
Cool.
It's a good place. Yeah, good place to hang out too. It's quiet and there's a fountain.
How are the bathrooms?
The real question.
Private. What like
Cool.
one each? Yeah. So you know what?
So
I'm just giving away all the special bathrooms
so
on
like,
campus.
So like if you ate a Taco Bell for lunch and
Yeah.
you're just like, oh, this is gonna be a privacy type
I need
bathroom
a
visit.
private
I need a
bathroom.
moment.
Yeah, I need a couple moments after Taco Bell. But okay, so what's your least favorite part about your job? And you can be honest.
Least
here.
favorite part?
Yeah.
I definitely say when like a cause will latch itself to anti-student government, because then we all have to, you know, bear that. Even if we had like no involvement with it, or even if we cared a lot about the issue, now we're forced to take this position because, you know,
Just by association.
because they aimed it at the organization, and you know what I mean? Does that make sense? And I don't want to get into the specifics of that because we'll be here
Of course.
all day. It's also since I'm, you know, appointed, like I'm around, I have my own free will and I can think my own things, but you know, if
you don't want to actively undermine, like,
I don't want to actively undermine the administration if the administration is being like portrayed in a certain way. I just like will have to stay out of it. So in a lot of things, I have to just be neutral, or you know, just try to deal with it and try to keep everyone calm. Like, hey guys, we're gonna be okay.
And everyone's just like, big government, and you're just like, I'm actually like, this has nothing to do with me.
I think we have a moderately sized student government. Like we're not small, and we affect a lot of change, but we're also not like.
I mean, it doesn't
all,
feel
all powerful.
Yeah, it doesn't feel authoritarian. I don't feel like Coley's constantly watching me. But I do have a conspiracy theory that like Billy's just like lurking around every corner listening.
I can report today that, well, not report, but there are elements of the university that want more security cameras, and that's something I heard in passing.
Really?
I'm not going to say who I heard that from, but
okay.
That's something we can discuss privately. But
they're not watching.
I mean, no, I don't think there's anything bad with that. If anything, the university is so large, and you know, we don't see a police officer every so few feet. Maybe more cameras is good.
Yeah, I mean, like
it's all the debate.
This is basically its own like town. Like
essentially, we have our own, you know, water and all this stuff.
We have a Taco Bell.
To some degree, we're producing our own electricity. So
yeah, it's this is a small city state, if you will. So you said you were elected.
I was not elected. I was appointed.
You were appointed. That's
yes.
right. So you were appointed. So can you go through that process? Like how did that occur?
Yeah. So each president, vice president, administration chooses their own like people who they want to serve in their cabinet. Their own, you know, there's cabinet secretaries, there's officers, there's their executive board, and they kind of choose amongst who they know or whoever applies. So basically, you go through an application and your eligibility is verified. You know, make sure you're not like failing every class, and that you've been here at least one semester and you have, I think it's 6 units, so 2 classes. Once you go through that process, you know, you're interviewed, and it's a very like, I think I was working with Nick at the game room, and Nick's actually still working at the game room. And the day of my interview, we love the game room here. The day of the interview, I thought it was just going to be a one-on-one interview with the elected leaders, but I came in and it was like a panel of 4 people.
Oh God.
So all interviews are like that. So if you're
council.
that's for any ASI position though, you get interviewed by a panel, even if it's not a student leader. Like if it's a student staff member somewhere in the organization, you're still interviewed by panel. So it's a little intimidating. But if you're selected, you go through a reference check, a resume check, and then your name and your resume, your contact information is submitted to our board of directors, which is made up of our elected leaders. Okay. So our elected leaders are confirming our appointed leaders. So there's always like some accountability there.
Gotcha.
And then they go through their review, and they get 2 weeks to the next meeting to ask any questions, reach out to us, check our references, check our resume, and then it's voted on at the next meeting. If you have a simple majority, that's enough to confirm you, but most positions are confirmed unanimously. Very rarely will we have people vehemently against it. You know what I mean? Did I say that correctly? Vehemently?
Yeah, vehemently.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's a word.
So if a student that wants to, like, let's say there's a listener, and they're like, you know what? I want to do that. I want to get involved with student government. How would they go about that process?
So I would definitely recommend not jumping into an appointed position first. So I'd go 2 routes. Definitely get involved with the organization some way, either as an employee, or you can go through our mentor program. It's called BASE. I definitely would recommend it. Last semester we did about 20 students, and this semester we're doing the same. Basically, you shadow an elected or appointed leader, and They get to be a resource to you. You meet with them. You go to workshops with them, and they can basically guide you through your whole experience. And I think that's a great way to jump into it. Or you could do what we did. We worked in the organization ASI. Yeah. We got to know all the departments. Like, just for example, our games room experience. We interact with Beat. We interact with conference and events, and we're constantly working in the building.
Yeah, just like Michael said, I highly recommend it. The easiest way to get involved with ASI, from my perspective at least, he gave a great way to as well. But one way that I found was great was just working for the organization through one of the student staff positions, whether it's at the BSE, whether it's at the BRIC. Just there's a lot of opportunities, so you can get in multiple routes if anyone's curious about getting involved.
And obviously elections, but we're at a point where you can no longer run for office. I want to actually mention another one. So there are multiple subcommittees within ASI, and the committee I chair, facilities and operations, and we actually have 4 students who are just at-large students, and they're appointed the same way, application, and they go through board of directors, but any student can apply to that with the same, if they meet the eligibility. Okay. But it's a more minimized role. You're just a member of the committee, and you're not technically a part of student government, but you're on a student government committee, and you can voice your concerns. You're a voting member. You're equal to anyone else there who's a voting member. Okay. And I would definitely, so like, for example, I have 4 students on the facilities and operations committee. There's a sustainability committee. There's the, next year there's going to be the basic needs committee. They're probably going to have students on there. And the elections committee, which is running the election right now as we speak.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, definitely.
So speaking of elections, Michael, we actually have the ASI presidential elections coming up next week. And with that, me and Andy already covered this right before we started interviewing you. But why don't you tell us, is there any candidates or tickets that have a platform that you support, or any ideas that they're putting forth that you think would be great? Just speak on that a little bit.
Okay, yeah. So first of all, for me, there will be no endorsements. Okay. That language has been taken out of the elections policy. You can support anyone you'd like, and that's fine. But I just think I don't want to endorse someone on this platform and then no one else is endorsing the other candidates on this platform.
You know of course, and we didn't endorse anybody.
Yeah, definitely. But I definitely would say that I'm really drawn to policy-oriented platforms, and some of the platforms I saw seem very schools. There was one platform that was school spirit oriented, which is fine. Or we want to change the commuter culture, which is something that it's true. We want to get that done, but that shouldn't be the sole platform. You know what I mean? Which is very difficult because we already have a programming department that's beat. We I don't think student government should be involved in these programming efforts, because we need to be policy oriented, and we really need revisions to a lot of these old documents that have been there since the 80s. You saw, we're revamping the logo. Yeah. That's just on the exterior. We're looking back at old policy. Something I'm doing, I'm re-looking at the facility use manual that deals with reservations. That thing's really old. You know what I mean? So I'm definitely interested in presidents that I say presidents because they're essentially co-presidents. We need our presidents to be co-presidents. We need them to be. We obviously want a president who's more centered towards communication, and a VP that's more centered towards policy, because they're going to chair our board of directors. But we definitely want them to be interchangeable. Because God forbid someone's sick one week. Yeah. We need someone to, or not 1 week, but someone gets coronavirus. We need the ability to rotate. And I definitely, although all the candidates have varying experiences, I will say that I think we need our president and vice president to come from the current administration. And I say that not because, we need to continue the policies of this administration, but the administration and ASI as a whole has been shaken up this whole past year. We've changed policies. Our management has changed. You've worked in the game room. You've seen we've gone through management changes. Yeah. Everything's changing, and I think it'd be the smoothest transition to have people who already served this year. And there's only one ticket who's doing that, who will not be named because that's not inappropriate. I encourage everyone to check out this week's Poly Post so that they can read up on everyone's platforms and see who has the most experience.
I absolutely agree. And with that, we are done. Thank you guys so much again for listening to another episode of the Poly Podcast. Thank you so much to our guests today, Kelcie, Lauren, and of course, Michael.
Yeah, thank you to both of you for risking your careers in journalism to have me on this show. I
Of
really
course.
appreciate it.
Well worth the risk.
It was a fun time.
As always, if you guys want us to talk about any kind of particular topics or stories, be sure to DM us on our Instagram page or leave a comment under our YouTube video. Like this video if you liked it. Let us know what you guys thought. And, of course, as always, thank you so much to Film by Ray for the intro and outro music. Those guys rock. Be sure to check them out in the description down below. Andy, anything else you want to add, brother?
Like and share, just get the word out there. Thank you guys for the support so far, and like I said, it's only getting better from here, so.
Absolutely. All right, Broncos, we will catch you next week.
Later.